I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's episode 9 of the Mad Titan Podcast with me, resident Supergirl, Mr. Jay Washington. What's going on? How you doing, people? Hope y'all had a great Halloween week. Not even a day, because Halloween damn near lasted the whole week because of it falling on a Wednesday. People celebrated the week before. I know I did a couple of costumes and whatever because I was on a budget, so I took whatever the hell I had and made it happen. I went as Luke Cage. How did I go as Luke Cage? I had a yellow t-shirt and put holes in a hoodie. You fucking right, I did. And had a thermos for what? Coffee. Damn right. Thank you to everybody that's been checking out the podcast. Thank you for everybody for their great feedback and love. Shouts out to those who have been following along on Nerd Jabber. I appreciate you all as well. We're going to try to keep doing things and growing this. So everybody who's been riding with your boy for this has been fucking amazing. Y'all already know how I talk. So if you just heard fucking amazing, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be language. I probably have put a disclaimer in the beginning of this and from now on, but I don't know, man. I'm getting tired. So I'll normally go into my past week, and I'll introduce my guest with me this week, but I'll go into my past week. Like I said, Halloween was this week. I did some great things. I got to be back on Nerdist News Talks back. Supposed to do movie fights, but I couldn't because I had a callback audition for a big thing that I got the night before. Like, I went to the joint 2-3 weeks ago and forgot the hell about it. Then all of a sudden the night before, I'm like, God damn it. And so it was in Santa Monica, and I had to go to Beverly Hills to try to do movie fights. Now, for those who aren't in California or Los Angeles specifically, you don't know what the hell that distance means. What it means is shit is far. And it was rush hour. Rush hour out here starts at like 3 o'clock, so traffic gets even worse than it already the hell is, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here. I did some other dope stuff. I can't wait to tell y'all about it later because it's got to be under wraps for now. I got to do some secret shit. So that's what's that. This week joining me, I got one of the homies again. First of all, I love everybody that's been hitting me up asking me for the women on the podcast. I told you last week and I'm going to tell you this week. The majority of who I want are working. So it is very hard to lock down a date to record after pretty much everything has aired that lines up, if that makes sense. So, like, I don't want nobody ever thinking, yo, Jay just have a bunch of dudes on this motherfucker. Nah, I know some funny-ass, very insightful women who are in the nerd world who I just got to get them to have some free time in an hour. And I know a lot of people think, oh, it's just an hour, it won't matter. Look, when you working as much as a lot of these women are working, an hour is a lot. So, I'm working on it. Please don't think I'm on bullshit, you know. My guest, though, is one of my homies back from Chicago, man. Very cool dude, funny comedian. Just recently moved out here to Los Angeles. He's a big-ass nerd like I am, and we found that out a while ago in Chicago. Didn't know that he knew just as much about this shit, if not more, than I do. And I always like to learn from people, you know what I'm saying? So I got my homeboy, Keith Paesel, with me. Keith, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, man, just talk normal. Let me, hey, how's it going?
Well, I don't know, I guess. I'm sorry I'm not a woman.
That wasn't needed.
Yeah.
That wasn't needed. I mean, I don't think you got to apologize for not being a woman.
I mean, you were.
I mean, I feel like because the thing is, a lot of people, especially in this industry, given the fact that I work in it now and I get to see it a lot more from the inside, it is heavily male dominated and more so heavily white male dominated.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
And so to be a person of color, to have an outlet and a platform, I don't want to just limit it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always try to have people of color on here, but I always try to have everybody who is insightful. And there are some other people too who are like females or, you know, females, people of color that I won't have, women or people of color, that I won't have on here because they're boring. Like, just be real. There's some people who can't. I try to keep the energy up with this.
Right.
I try to keep the fun going. Yeah, I'm going to give you a lot of news, a lot of facts, breakdowns and shit, but I want to have fun. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And some people just don't know how to loosen up at times. And it's like, come on, man. We're not in front of the camera sometimes, or we're not just at a con. Like, yo, be loose.
Yeah, we're just sitting in a living room.
We're just sitting in a living room. Yeah, because we're in my crib recording this. So, you know what? And thank you for Keith, for letting people know. Yeah, we're just sitting in the living room. Goddamn right we are. Because this is a budget that we have, and the budget is zero.
Yeah.
And I'm working on actually getting some sponsors. I will tell you about sponsorship opportunities. If you have any type of business, big or small, I will tell you about sponsorship opportunities. But what's been going on with you, man, since you moved out here?
I've just been trying to do as much stand-up as possible.
Yeah, well, good luck on that shit.
Yeah. That's anybody I talk about, they're just like, well, and if you have anything else you want to do, you
might want to try doing that shit. Like, yo, don't hold back on your dreams, literally, fam.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do what you need to do.
No, there is out here. I've come across a lot of people who, like, they're very successful, but they kind of started. They're like, yeah, I came here to do this, in show business, and now I'm the vice president of sales at Fox. And you're just like, well, I guess you can fail up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good thing, though. But, yeah, it's when you get out here, like, what I found out when I moved from the crib, it's so much different. First and foremost, it always helps if you got credits.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help as much as you would think.
It probably helps, like, in short term, right, when you get here.
Yeah, in short term. And then it's about, like, I hate saying it, it's barely about being funny out here. Because you'll see a lot of shows of people who are on it, who are doing big shit. And you be like, oh, so you don't have to be funny.
Right.
Got it.
You can build a fan base. People will just come watch you.
I mean, but that's the goal anyway.
Yeah.
That's the goal no matter what. But it's just that so many people, like, they'll try to coattail ride with certain shows. And, you know, it is what it is. That's the business. But at the end of the comics run the city. Comics run the comedy in L.A.
Right.
Because people are like, oh, you got clubs like the Laugh Factory, the Improv, the Comedy Store, whatever. Those are cool, but at the end of the day, like, industry isn't really coming into clubs anymore. They're coming into small bar shows, the DIY.
The next big thing.
The next big thing out of the DIY comedy rooms, or somebody who might have been doing it 10, 12 years they've never heard of, who all of a sudden they can say, boom, you're a sensation now. And so to everybody else.
Yeah, it seems like LA's the kind of city where in Chicago you have guys that do stand-up for, like, 18 to 20 years, and you're kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? But out in LA, I feel like there's enough opportunities where you can hang on and keep doing it, because you literally never know when you see it.
It also can break you. I will say this, as somebody who constantly busts his ass on 90 different levels.
Yeah, and you're doing well.
Thank you. Sometimes I don't. As the person doing it, I always don't feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not doing enough. You know, everybody's like, yo, you doing this and you doing that, and it's good. I'm like, man, I feel like there's more I can be doing. Yeah. Especially the fact that I do everything for my kids. Me trying to be successful and have a financially lucrative career is not for myself. It's to have some shit for my shorties on the back end.
Right. I always forget that you have kids.
Oh, I try to make sure people don't forget that. But the thing is because of that. And so I just try to utilize all avenues, because again, out here you have to. Out here you can't just be a stand-up in Los Angeles. You can't.
No.
Plain and simple. If you want to just be a stand-up, you go to New York. You know what I'm saying? You go to New York. So
well, and even that, just a stand-up is like, that means you're just doing stand-up every night. Like out in LA, it's literally the way the city is spread out. It's just hard to just only do, like, oh, I want to do 8 spots in a night. You cannot do that in Los Angeles.
That's the crazy part too. You cannot do, you can do a few. You can do a few, but you can't do a lot. Like in Chicago, we can do 4 or 5. New York, you can knock out 8 for sure.
Yeah, but even in New York, you can't really make a super lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
Versus it's kind of on. I would just say in New York you can do more stand up. Versus making a career at it.
Yeah.
But I think in general the days of only doing stand up are kind of over. Like outside of Chris Rock and shit, no one's really just like, I make only money doing stand up. And if they are, they're like sad road dogs who never have time.
There's those road dogs who just like, they live completely on the road. They have no life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't. They don't have a life. They don't have families. It's just constantly go.
Well, and if people don't know, like when you get into the club circuit, a lot of lower level comedians work Wednesday through Sunday. Because you're doing shows Thursday through Sunday, so you got to get there Wednesday. So you really only have Monday and Tuesday to like have a life, and then I know some people who go on the road 50 weeks out of the 52 weeks in a year, which is crazy.
I mean, we all want that ability to do it. I will say that. That's a definite guarantee for that. But let's not go into all that. Let's get to what we're here about. For those who are new to this, what I do every single week is I get you caught up on all the happenings in the Marvel and DC live action universes. That's TV shows and movies. That includes Netflix, the DC universe, all the shit on Fox, everything on the CW, what's coming back to Freeform, what's going to be on Hulu, all of it. I talk about it. Let's get it started. I'm going to go into Marvel news right now. The biggest Marvel story pretty much is that John Cena,
I saw this on the way here,
has left a cryptic post on Instagram about him wanting to be Captain America.
See, but John Cena leaves cryptic posts all the time. Like, he'll Instagram anime memes and stuff like that. Like, when he was going through his breakup with Nikki Bella, he was posting wild shit. So who knows if this is just John Cena being like, I want to play Captain America.
I mean, here's the thing about that. I can see that. I definitely see him just saying, "Yo, let me throw it out there. See, let me test the waters and blah blah blah." But at the same time, it's shut up, phone. I don't know why you went off. But at the same time, he's John Cena now.
Yeah.
I say, what you mean? Like, people are like, what you mean now? He's not just John Cena the wrestler.
Dude has been in Blockers, dude.
Dude was in.
That was a good movie.
Which was a great ass movie, and he's gonna be in Bumblebee, which is the reason he didn't go to that fucking thing in Saudi Arabia.
And he's the pistachio elephant.
And he's the pistachio. He's the voice of the pistachio elephant. You know what I'm saying? John Cena has a lucrative career developing.
Yeah.
And he's recognizable, and I don't think you have to retell Steve Rogers' story.
No, and I think Steve Rogers is the kind of character where you don't necessarily have to have the best actor playing him, because he's kind of a tight guy. He's a tight guy,
but also, I like I said, you don't have to do the origin again, because we don't need to see a small John Cena CGI on his face CGI on somebody's body, but you can just have him take up the mantle. Now, again, this is all speculation. This is him just being cryptic as shit, because it's assumed that either Bucky or Sam are going to pick up the shield at the end of Avengers 4. Mm-hmm. And more than likely it's going to be Bucky, because white people be tripping.
Well, they tried to make Sam Captain America in the comic books.
And white people lost their fucking mind.
It didn't last long. They reverted it pretty quick. They made Steve Rogers an old man. They took all the super soldier serum out of him. But yeah, they kind of flipped, and they even did it with Iron Man. They got that Riri Williams, who was Ironheart, but they kept her around.
Here's the problem I have with fandoms doing shit like that, and I'm just gonna keep it real. It's a fucking fictional character. Captain America is not a person.
Right.
It's a title. It's a title. Sam Wilson is warranted of it because of his character being former military. Right. He can be Captain fucking America.
Well, and I think the problem that white people don't like, if they would have just...
By the way, Keith is white. Okay.
Yeah, I'm white. I'm half Mexican, but I look very white.
You look white as shit.
But if they wouldn't back down, I think people would just people just have to get used to it. It's because you've had 50, 60 years of Steve Rogers being a white guy that people get so... kind of bent out of shape when they're just like, well, he's always been white, so it seems so weird. When if you would just let Sam be Captain America for 40 years, even though people would be bitch about it for 10, it would just be in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
So I think part of it is them just don't stop, just accept the bad issues and keep going with it.
We're just in this day and age where some companies keep trying to go with that whole, I just don't want to deal with the headache. And the problem is, you're going to have a headache one way or another. There's nothing you can do to run from it, in a sense of avoid it. Fuck, if Captain America becomes black, it's possible. Yo, there's a lot. And I don't even want to go to that whole, it's been said in comic books. Yeah, because Sam Wilson was. But if they decide to make another person Captain America, they can. Because why? No one person holds that title. They did a Lady Thor. Mm-hmm. Now, the title must be Thor.
And that was very successful.
It's very successful, but I'm assuming the title is Thor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's certain things where a name can't be applied to anybody. You can technically make a black person Steve Rogers, but Captain America can be anybody. Mm-hmm. It's no one set for that. And I think that's the biggest thing people forget. Again, also, they're fictional. fucking
Yeah.
characters.
It's fake. Just accept it.
It's fictional fucking characters.
Also, what I think is weird is it's coming at a time where diversity is kind of being, I don't want to say forced because it's not bad, but there are these big sweeping, like, we're going to make some changes to our books, and then it's like these sweeping one by one, like all at once. We're going to make all these superheroes black, and I think people that are apprehensive to racial shit are kind of just like, whoa, why all at once? Like,
well, I think the problem, and I agree with you, but I think the problem with that is those same people who are like, whoa, not at once, they never wanted to accept it slowly but surely. Because it let's be real, diversity has always been a thing. It's just that the representation has not been there.
Yeah, and they're always sidekicks or servants.
Right.
Shit.
And so now they're at the forefront in every way possible, from blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, all these different elements. And now people are like, hold on, what are you doing? Why are you forcing this? It's not forcing. It's just that you didn't want to accept it.
Right.
So now it's coming at you. So now it's like, here it is. And you're like, it's too much. No, it's just you never wanted to deal with it. You thought everything would stay a certain status quo, if you will. But again, if John Cena's Captain America, I'm cool with it, I guess. Fans have started a petition to revive Luke Cage for season 3. Why?
Yeah, I kind of...
Yo, y'all need to use change.org for some shit that really matters. Stop making dumb y'all gonna load that
watch
server.
the first 2 seasons of Luke Cage over again.
Y'all gonna overload the fucking server. I'm not saying that I'm not upset it got canceled. I'm not upset at all because I kind of know what's about to happen. Disney Play is coming up. It's going there. Yeah, don't try to tell me that, oh, I don't want the Disney service. I want it on Netflix.
So do you think they're going to pull Runaways off Hulu and shit and put that all on there?
No, you know why? Because Fox owns Hulu.
Okay.
January 1st, 2019, Disney will own Hulu. It can stay.
Oh, it could stay.
It can stay.
Is The Gifted on Hulu? Do they
The
put
Gifted
that on
is
there?
Fox.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. They'll get The Gifted.
Yeah.
So they'll get those. So it's like people got to chill with the trying to, oh, they taking everything away. They're not. It just was announced Daredevil's numbers dropped 57% from season 2, but that's because season 2 was so high. And also, the Defenders have killed all the rest of these individual seasons. The Defenders was not the best by any means.
No, it was not at all. It wasn't bad, but there was at no point watching the Defenders was I actually excited.
It never really...
It seemed pointless.
It seemed pointless. It seemed like y'all just were doing something to be doing it. And so that affected the seasons coming. We knew it was going to affect Daredevil. It affected Luke Cage. Iron Fist was going to struggle on season 2 regardless because of season 1.
Well, that's what I think the rumblings are, is on that Disney Play, they're going to do a Heroes for Hire.
They're just going to do Heroes. Yeah, and I've said it on here before. They're just going to do Heroes for Hire. So this way, if you didn't watch Iron Fist season 2, it gets better. It actually gets better. So calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and you could throw Jessica Jones in there because...
Well, you can do... Yeah, she can throw in there anyway. We got to see what happens after her third season comes out, which I'm really not excited for. Now, I'll be honest. Her first season was amazing.
It was great.
Her second season fell off so hard because I felt like you were dragging the whole relationship with her mother. Yeah, spoiler alert. Whole season is about Jessica's mom is not dead. She's brainwashed and she's a psycho with super strength too. Like, okay. Because what they're doing is it's called shitty relationship, shitty family. Now we're going into shitty friendship. The whole thing with Trish. I mean, I guess. We'll see. I love the show. Christian Ritter is dope as Jessica Jones, but I just hope it doesn't... Like when we talked about diversity, and I'll talk about it with a couple of these shows in a minute. There's certain subjects that we want to keep putting social issues into these TV shows and movies, which I don't mind. Yes, address them. But it gets to the point where you're beating people over the head, where it gets to be way too much.
Right.
When we know it's like, yo, I'm on your side with the issues. I'm here with you. But there is no reason.
Yeah.
You have to keep trying to beat us over the head and make sure we know about it. And Jessica Jones season 2, we already showed season 1 was about a badass woman no matter what. Mm-hmm. The big thing that was coming about season 2 was every episode was directed by a woman. Already on board. Then it was like some of the episodes was like, okay, we're getting in this sad family thing real quick, and we're doing other things. It's like, come on, just have this story progress like you've kept having it. You have strong characters at your base. Strong women characters as your base. You don't have to. The majority of your audience that's there is there with you already. There are those who are probably just tuning in. Some who weren't going to be there, they just weren't. Beating them over the head is not going to help it. But that was my issue with Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel like when these shows get canceled on streaming services, especially, people try and make an issue of why it got canceled instead of just flat out ratings. Like when Luke Cage got canceled, people were just like, well, now they're getting rid of the Black show.
Yeah, but they got rid of fucking Iron Fist first.
Yeah, and it was just like, well, maybe it wasn't. It's underperforming. They spend a lot of money on these shows.
Which, again, I keep trying to tell. I tell people that all the time. Like, these shows are not inexpensive and cheap to produce.
They're like movies.
They're like movies. And Netflix has been running for a year under a loss. Regardless of how I feel, being as pro-black as I am in black entertainment, if the company that is producing this is running at a hole as a loss, that means The Crown, Altered Carbon, all of the Marvel shit, Making a Murderer, everything they've made, that shit cost millions of dollars.
I don't think they've ever turned a profit in the history of their company.
No, they just did enough to break even.
Yeah.
But now they're at a loss. They broke even for the longest, but when they decided to go into their own full original content, they went to a loss. So I understand it because I understand the business. You don't just keep a show going no matter what the subject matter is.
I think people blindly assume that because Netflix doesn't, like, it was so unlike regular television that they just assumed, like, oh, Netflix shows won't get canceled.
Now they found it out the hard way. A lot of them get canceled left and right.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that might have even been so before, because originally people would make it themselves and then sell it to Netflix. And now they're actually spending money to produce the shows, so that's a different game.
that's a whole different, because and that was the thing. That was the thing they wanted at first. They wanted you to have a successful web series or something you've already done, a pilot at least in the can, and so this way you can, show them, hey, I can do this, and then they made like, yo, here's some money, let's reshoot this, do this, that, and the third, cool. But we'll see. Other Marvel news: the PG-13 version of Deadpool has an official title. It is Once Upon a Deadpool.
Oh, I bet it would be hilarious if it's like 50 minutes shorter just because of all the stuff they have to pull out.
So what they say is probably it's gonna be bedtime. Like the film's plot is a bedtime story to Fred Savage. What they said the final cut of the film is 3 minutes shorter than Deadpool 2.
Okay.
So that's not taking out a lot. And Ryan Reynolds supposedly has already filmed new scenes for it. So he's changed the tone up.
Well, and they used to do that, especially with movies like Superbad. They would film separate scenes if they ever aired on TV.
Yeah. So they don't have to have that horrible voiceover dub. But also, I know those in the know exactly what this PG-13 cut is for. This is to show Marvel he can be the same character.
Put him in the universe.
He can be the same character. But what I believe is going to happen, I was talking to some other people, and we all came to the kind of conclusion of this. The end of this PG-13 cut is going to show Deadpool saying at the end, well, that was a story about all these characters I knew about, but this never really happened. Talking about the X-Men and everybody from Deadpool, and it's closing the chapter on that. Now, let's read another story. Deadpool in the MCU.
Oh, that's fun.
That's how you do that. More likely that'll be it. The film is going to be given a 12-day run beginning December 12th, and it's going to conclude on Christmas Eve. This is going to be...
It's such a cool money grab on Fox's part.
Hey, listen. If you're going to go ahead and you're finna lose a lot of your properties, make everything you can off of it now, get it out the way, and just roll with it, I guess. And you can't...
So Deadpool 3 is probably not happening.
That definitely is not happening.
Yeah.
It'll be just a new Deadpool. It'll be rebooted, but when they reboot it, in a sense, Ryan's going to continually reference the other two movies.
Right.
Because Deadpool...
that's his character.
That's his character. And so it won't be awkward.
And he can't... That's what's so great about it is he's Deadpool. You can't switch it out.
You can't. And people say, oh, you can put any actor.
No.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Just like for years. Now, granted, we've said it for years, but the man put 20 years in. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Granted, you can recast another Wolverine, but you're always going to look him first. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. That is something I can't see anybody else being at this point. I don't think there's anybody who would have the look, the feel, and the styles of Tony Stark, but we will see. So again, Once Upon a Deadpool, it is going to be a fairy tale story to Fred Savage.
That's fun. I love the Fred Savage part.
I think that's the best part. I think that's the best part about it.
So are they going to use this exact Fred Savage scenes from the Never-Ending Story or whatever that's from?
They're going to have... No, it's going to be actual Fred Savage.
And they're just going to splice Deadpool in and have...
No. It's going to be actual Fred Savage. It's going to be actual...
Grown-up Fred Savage?
Grown-up Fred Savage.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, if you're going to do it all the way. Yeah, you can do... Yeah, that's grown-up Fred Savage.
Oh, yeah, look at it. Same
That's
clothes
grown-up.
and everything.
Yeah, that's grown-up Fred Savage. You're using the adult, which makes it all the better.
Once Upon a... That's so great.
You got Deadpool telling a grown-ass man a bedtime story. I'm going to go right into the Marvel TV news. Not even news. Let's do a recap of The Gifted. I actually caught this past week's The Gifted. Okay, before I go any further, I just referenced this in regards to Jessica Jones. I've said this last week in regards to Supergirl, and I'm going to say it now. I understand that you all want to take the social issues and spin them on their head for these shows. I understand it makes an easy writing point. But fuck.
Yeah, the racist cop thing.
Yeah, in the very beginning, I'm like, okay, I get the whole situation with mutants. I get where you're going. Having Jace join the Purifiers, which is basically Friends of Humanity. I'm cool with it, but god damn, when he was at the rally and the Purifier dude said they will not replace us, come on.
Right, it's very so.
It's a Charlottesville
upfront woke, yeah.
No, it's the Purifier dude who's the hate group, the leader of the hate group. They will not replace us. Remember in Charlottesville the whole chance. So, and I don't want to say it again or repeat it, but it's like God.
Yeah, they might as well have just had a car drive through after that. Yeah.
But and granted, yes, the Friends of Humanity, Purifiers, whatever you want to call them, are similar to those situations. You can't deny that. But good God.
Well, yeah, and it's throwing a lot in at once. Like, you can represent the Purifiers being bad and not necessarily being like, and they're also accepting horrible cops because cops fucking suck.
Yeah, and the thing of the Purifiers is they're taking all races and genders. Because I seen it, they were in a meeting hall and it was a black woman, a white woman.
Yeah, even the hate group has to be fully...
The hate group is an equal opportunity employer is what they're saying. It's like,
that's true progress.
That's true progress. When your hate group is like, hey, well, we let everybody in to hate on everybody.
Well, and it kind of is, I kind of accept that in a way because it kind of shows that how discriminated against mutants are. It's just like even people of color and gay people hate mutants.
Well, that was the thing.
Mutants aren't even black. If you're black and a mutant, you're not black. You're just a mutant.
Well, I was gonna bring that up. So Blink and Eclipse go. I can't remember his freaking name.
Thunderbird?
No, Eclipse. I can't remember his actual name. His name's in my head, and it just skips me. But nonetheless, they go down to the Morlocks, and the head of the Morlocks is a black dude. And I can't remember because in the previous episode they said his name, and I didn't catch it. But Blink was asking him about how did he lose his eye, and the Morlocks leader, a black dude, was like, when I began my when I came upon when my powers came in, my eye came out, and she was like, oh, they took it, blah blah blah. He was like, no, it wasn't. They hated it. And he's like, my classmates hated me. And she was like, oh, because of your mutancy, your mutancy and all that. He was like, no, they were just plain out racist.
Right, it's because I was black.
It's because I'm black. He was like, they're just plain out racist. I'm like, well, at least we got straight to it in here. Andy is falling in love with the new chick, Rebecca. Her powers are turning things inside out, and Andy blows things out inside out. So when they have sex, that's going to be weird.
I like that they're bringing Morlocks into this. I always enjoyed those episodes of the cartoon.
Yeah, everybody enjoyed the Morlocks. So to have the Morlocks here is like, okay, we're giving you some reference to the old 90s cartoon.
There's homeless mutants.
And yes, they're very homeless. This is like, every time I see them, when I saw the Morlocks, I was automatically reminded of that scene in Demolition Man with Dennis Leary, with Edgar Friendly, and he was leading the people underground. I was thinking about that. So, but that's pretty much all of Marvel news. Again, Marvel is saving all that big news for you. Like Brie Larson just put a picture up of her, Captain Marvel, telling people to vote tomorrow. I know by the time you all hear this, it will be past voting time. I've said this before. I don't care who you vote for. I kind of do. But vote. Especially. Well,
I did it out of state for Illinois elections.
You went home to do it?
No, I sent my mail. I did a ballot by mail.
Good. So, that's all the Marvel news. Like I said, Marvel is waiting on everything.
Yeah, they do everything at the Disney convention, right? Don't they?
D23 will happen a lot, but that's after Captain Marvel. Also, they got a lot. They don't have any real big things coming out, so DC is able to run the table with all the news. And speaking of DC news, one of the biggest things that's come out is Ewan McGregor. Yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be Black Mask in Birds of Prey. First of all, that's a dope-ass casting.
So dope.
That's a dope-ass grab.
You can thank Fargo for that.
You can also thank Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
They were together.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting. Of course, they're actors. They have to do a role and be professionals, but they ain't together no more, and there's going to be some bitterness because when they was together, he was married, he didn't tell her, and it's going to be like, ooh. Birds of Prey is also set to be rated R, director Kathy Yan has said when she spoke last week in Los Angeles, which I'm hoping it happens now.
And this is going to be one of the non-DC universe movies, right?
Well, supposedly all of them now are non-DCEU.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
That's what I wish they would do.
Well, I've also heard what they're planning, what they're supposed to be doing, but again, it's tentative. Supposedly, all of the upcoming DCEU films are DCEU individual films, leading to a Crisis on Earth X. Everybody will have the alternate world.
See, I'm fine with that. If you do it like
if you're setting it up to do that,
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Then it makes sense.
Because that could be their version of the Avengers.
Right.
That's why everybody would unite.
Right, but you already have your Shazam who lives in the world of Batman, Superman, Flash, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. So all those live in the same universe. At the same time, technically, Birds of Prey lives in that universe.
And the new Batman exists in that universe, right?
Yeah,
that's not going to have Ben Affleck.
Nope, he's done, and we don't even know who's going to be
fucking. That's where Flashpoint comes in. That's where my Flashpoint theory comes in.
They're not doing Flashpoint. They've already said it. They've established that they're not going to do it. They are not doing, which fucking sucks.
It's the best way to reboot the whole
thing.
with
everything. That was their out.
You could do every fan theory. My whole thing with Flashpoint is you could go balls out. You could bring Michael Keaton back. You could have every version of every DC property that's ever existed.
So here's the dope thing about what you just said. Everybody's biggest fan theory is how do you deal with Batman? And it has involved Michael Keaton, but it involves him more so leading into Batman Beyond, where you have him play the old Henry, I'm tired of this shit, I've done it too long, I'm retired Bruce Wayne. You have a young kid play Terry McGinnis, or you even do what a young kid is, Terry McGinnis, and have it be his son later on in life. Mm-hmm. You do that. That's how you bring in Batman Begins. Instead of doing this whole, Batman Beyond, instead of doing this whole story where it's like, I don't even care about Batman anymore at this point.
That's why I think they're waiting. It's coming out in 2021 or something like that.
They would have to be in production already, and they're not. So there's nothing. There'd have to be an announcement.
Here's my two hopes for the new Batman, for the upcoming Batman movie. A, they have a voiceover of him doing the voiceover like Bruce Wayne, and a whole thing in black and white.
I would like a noir version of it. I'd be here for it. But back to the movies in the universe. Birds of Prey is in that universe. The only thing that's not in the universe is Todd Phillips' Joker. That's not in it.
Yeah.
But if you start bringing other characters that live in other universes, then you can set that up completely. Mm-hmm. Who's to know? Speaking of Elseworlds, the DC, the Arrowverse crossover, Psycho Pirate is going to be a part of it. At this rate, they are adding every fucking character.
Yeah, and they've run out of villains. Like, every villain in all the DC shows are so kind of absurd. Like, even in Flash, they're getting to Cicada and stuff.
Well, Cicada's actually been a good one for them.
Yeah.
Cicada's a good storyline, but it's the small... So here's the thing. This is how this works. DC and Warner Brothers have control... Warner Brothers has control of everything because Warner Brothers owns DC.
Yeah.
Anytime a DC show wants to use a character, they have to go to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers yays or nays it based on the fact of, we might want to use this in a movie. Well, that's how at first you got all the low-level Batman villains in Arrow.
And it's why in Gotham they never called Jerome Joker. or even now they call him Mr. J.
Yep, they've never called him Joker.
They can't.
Because you have the Joker films.
Yeah.
That's why also they took Deathstroke away from Arrow because of two things. One, at first, he was supposed to be the villain of The Batman. Then when that got nixed, it was like, oh, he's possibly going to get a movie. That's still in the air. But it was announced that Teen Titans Season 2, Titans Season 2 is the Judas contract, which needs Deathstroke. Right. Which is really going to be weird, too, by the way. If you've never seen Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, the animated series, y'all know, I'm going to preface this to all the listeners. You know I am a diehard Slade Wilson fan. I am a Deathstrokeaholic. That sounds weird. I'm a Deathstrokeaholic. He fucks a 15-year-old. That's where I draw the line. If you remember, he fucks Tara.
Yeah.
He's fucking Tara. So, like... Are we going?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to change that.
He fucks Tara because Tara basically she infiltrates the Titans.
I bet you they'll make her older.
You're gonna have to.
They're gonna have to make her like 18.
Yeah, at least 18. So you be like, she's 18 because you can't do that. He's fucking a 15-year-old.
I'm surprised that got away in like an animated movie or a comic book.
Well, you know, comic books have free reign because it's a comic book. There is no like. Granted, there's issues now. People want to nitpick things, especially when the fact Batman's dick came out. And I was like, yo.
That was such a massive deal. It changed their whole thing. Now the Black Label is just like, well, we're going to rethink the stories we print now.
Right, because y'all complain, I see Batman's dick. It's a...
Also, the whole point of the DC Black Label is it's completely uncensored.
It's completely uncensored. It's not for your kid.
No.
It's not for your kid, parents. That's like the parents who let their kids go see Deadpool 1 and 2 and got mad. That is your fucking fault. It was not. It's rated R for a reason.
Oh, and Deadpool 2, you're definitely dumb because it was over-advertised as a horrendously dirty movie.
He kept doing the ad saying, do not bring your little kids to this. He kept, and plus, those same parents who said, because I read some articles where parents were like, well, all kids should be able to enjoy these cartoons, these characters. Deadpool has been that way since he was drawn. Mm-hmm. If you've never read a Deadpool comic, you wouldn't know that he cusses in the comic. He had one run where his whole goal was to kill the writers. Oh, yeah. You know, so...
Yeah, well, and in comics, they have the ability to just do symbols for cussing, so they don't really have to censor themselves in that way.
I guess, whatever. Some other news. Virginia Madsen has been cast, this is a great cast. She's been cast in Swamp Thing. I just had, let me pull up my information that I had, because I had exactly who she's playing, and it is actually a great thing. They've got 2 big pickups, to be exact, for Swamp Thing.
This DC Universe thing it seems like they're doing all the planning that the movie universe didn't. Like, you know?
I think because they feel like, because it's their own property, that's why Titans goes over the top. She's Maria Sunderland in Swamp Thing. I'm sorry about that. But I think because it's their property. Like, Titans tries to be dark and gritty unnecessarily, too much at times. Like, it does way.
Yeah, and that's kind of my hopes for the Birds of Prey rated R movie. Is I hope it's my whole point of, and that because it's why I think the X-Men movie should be rated R, because you should have the option to do whatever you want, but not necessarily do whatever you want. So like, I hope the Birds of Prey movie is rated R, but I hope it's not just fuck shit this and like boobs everywhere.
Well, that's what pretty much that was when you introduced Hawk and Dove. That's what that was. That whole episode was fuck this, that, and third. You're like, yo, calm down.
Yeah. Also, what I like that the DC Universe thing does is they release episodes weekly, so they they build up talk about it.
Yeah. Also with that, I believe they just found their Avery Sunderland, which they did. I have the article right here. If my computer would actually click over. Yeah, thank you. Here it goes. Got it. Will Patton.
Arcane?
He's Avery Sunderland.
Okay.
I don't know if they've announced their Arcane yet. I know they have the Abbey, but I don't know if they got the other one. So I'm not really sure. Patton was just in Halloween, so a lot of people will remember him from also Fallen Skies and Armageddon. Yeah. So I'm cool with this. There's a lot of great casting. I'm sorry I didn't get fully in detail with it, but shit, it's a lot. Again, a lot.
Yeah.
James Wan. Why do I put Yan? Wan. I'm sleepy, ladies and gentlemen. James Wan put on Instagram that Aquaman is officially done.
So that means post everything.
Everything is done.
It's in the can.
All the VFX, everything is done, which is good to hear because it's November 5th, and the movie comes out in a month and a half.
Yeah, and now all the pirators are just like, oh, there's a copy of somewhere for us to steal.
I don't think that will stop the money. I think this movie's going to make a lot at the box office regardless.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one at the box office. There's no doubts about that. I just want to see how the movie itself is. I remember James Wan saying it was going to be a kind of a dark film, even though we saw all the humor. But I'm hoping to God in that last 5-minute montage they put out, that wasn't the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because it feels like we just saw, when I watched that 5-minute block, I was like, I think we just watched the movie. I think we just watched the main, basically.
Well, they do that with all of them. If you go back and look at all the trailers they release, including TV spots, they release about 30 minutes of the movies through trailers.
Yeah, which is unfucking necessary.
Yeah. I can't. Well, and I kind of don't blame them after the fallout of Justice League, where they probably wanted to show, like, here, look at all this cool stuff we have for Aquaman.
But the problem is, they messed that up showing in the trailers for Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Their biggest mess up, of course, the film had its issues. We all know the shit sucked. But in the trailers, you started looking like the very first trailer they released. Everybody was like, okay, I might be able to do this. And then you released another trailer, and you were like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah.
What?
Justice League was so bad, you have people begging for the cut.
Please, let's not do that. Let's not do it. There is no Snyder cut. They've already said there is no cut.
I know.
I hate people who go, there is a cut. He finished the movie.
No, they did a Richard Donner where they just halfway through him filming were like, you can't do the rest
of the movie. So there's no Snyder cut.
Yeah.
He didn't finish it.
Darkseid probably never put on a uniform or anything.
Last bit of DC news before I get into the shows of DC. Jesse L. Martin is going to take a temporary break from The Flash. He hurt himself in between filming seasons 4 and 5. So he's going to take a couple of weeks off, so you're not going to see him much in the show. Hope you get better, Jesse L. Martin. You are one of the stars of the show.
Now that's Joe, right?
That's Joe. That's Papa Joe.
Dude, that dude has a voice on him.
Man, do you remember that episode with him and Supergirl when they were singing?
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest episodes because you had Jesse L. Martin singing, you had John Barrowman singing, and Victor Garber.
Well, Jesse L. Martin was in Rent.
I know.
Movie. That's my girl. When I watched The Flash, my girlfriend is like, it throws her off because she was like, he's in Rent. He can't be in this show. He's in Rent.
Well, he for sure is in it.
Grant Gustin has singing background.
Yeah, he was on Glee.
Yeah. Just
like Melissa Benoist, who is Supergirl. Speaking of which, if I've told you about her show already, it's the same thing. Like now we're talking about the alien immigrants and everything still. We're getting more into Agent Liberty. I can't do it right now.
Yeah, and Supergirl seems like the one show that lacks kind of, every time I watch it, it's just like, well, why am I watching this show? Mm-hmm. Like there hasn't been really any meaty storylines, and they're 4 seasons in.
I've said this to everybody. Season 2 of Supergirl was honestly the best when they first got to the CW. After that, it's just been a struggle. David Harewood is amazing. Shyler Lee does what she can, but it's just overall, this show is...
Also, part of what threw me off is when they established that it took place on another Earth.
Yeah, that's how you instantly explained that one, because it was like, I guess because once they had it, well, that was the whole thing with it being on CBS. It was a CW show on CBS, so they instantly went with the whole, it's another Earth. Okay, because this way you can explain if Kara's here, where the hell has Superman been the whole time?
Yeah.
You know, and why hasn't Superman showed up in Arrow? But nonetheless, I digress. Arrow, I'm recording this on a Monday, so I have not seen next week's episode. When I record next week, I will have the recap of Arrow. Again, just a reminder, he was beating the shit out of people in prison.
Yeah, that's kind of what this whole season is going to be for the first half. I'm
glad. I'm glad we're doing long episodes of him in prison before he breaks out.
And they're kind of balancing that with how Star City is like, because now there's another Archer.
Yeah, they got to deal with all the city's falling apart without him.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that trips me out the most.
They got longbowers.
All the longbow hunters. So the longbow hunters in the comics are dope. They're giving them their justice so far, so we'll see how this plays out. They made Ricardo Diaz inject himself with a bunch of people's blood and all this shit out of centrifuge, and he ain't scared none of that shit for AIDS, but I digress again. It's just Oliver Queen is in slab-side maximum security prison.
With Cody Rhodes.
And Michael Jai White and Benny Jones beating the shit out of everybody and doesn't even have his bow and arrow. If y'all don't leave that man the fuck alone...
well, that's what I enjoy about this season specifically is I like when they have villains that in the comic... Like in the comic book, it's a fucking tiger. Like,
yeah.
It's a dude who looks like a tiger. But it's like I like being like, oh, if this were the real world, like Michael Jai White does a good job of like, no, it fits well.
Yeah, the tiger part is with these 3 knives he wears like Wolverine, which is what it is. But he is beating the shit out of people, and everybody keep be like, oh, you ain't no hero. You ain't gotta be a hero. You keep fucking do. Basically, in the 4 episodes I've watched so far of Arrow season 7, Oliver needs everybody's lunch, cigarettes, and several dudes deserve to be his bitch. He might not even fuck them, but they need to be his own called bitches.
Yeah, he's running through people in there.
But Brick's supposedly running the thing, and this dude, the demon, or whatever.
Well, and he's got superpowers. Have they found out that he has superpowers?
Who, Oliver?
Yeah, Brick.
No, he's supposed to be indestructible.
Okay,
I don't think they've introduced that element.
No, not
well, they
yet.
did. They teased it. They teased it when he debuted in season 3. Was it 3 or 4? Yeah, 3. Yeah, it was in season 3. They teased it in season 3 because he would always tell these dudes who were trying other like gangsters or whatever, if you think you tough, take the gun and shoot me. Go ahead, shoot me. So that was letting you know he's a meta of sorts. But I think if that's the case, unless they just want to forget that storyline, because he should be in Iron Heights, story-wise. I'm just telling y'all how the fuck I feel. Keith came in when I was finishing watching Legends of Tomorrow.
Which I love. I love that show.
Nate is at wits with his father. Again, shouts out to Thomas F. Wilson. You were fucking amazing. The Legends go through the Salem witch trials, which I was like, okay. Again, I love about this show, there is no formula.
No, I said coming in, it's a lot like the show Stargate.
Yeah.
Where every episode they just went to a different planet and it was like a different genre, a different style. Some episodes were dramatic, some were comedic.
Yep. And that's how it is with Legends. Every episode, it's like, you're going to get a lot of comedic value no matter what.
Yeah.
But
what gets confusing about Legends is they jump around time a lot. So sometimes you're just like, wait, what's the current story? Like, what's happening in their current Earth?
I remember when I did I moderated the DC Legends of Tomorrow panel at FanX in Salt Lake City. And I asked Katie Lotz, who plays Sarah Lotz, I was like, hey, how will Sarah deal with the death of her father? She was like, well, once we come back to the season, they've already been past that. She won't acknowledge, she won't bring it up or whatever. And they did that. I was like, oh, okay. All right, but y'all come back to 2018 a lot. So, granted, you in DC, ain't nobody, fine, leave it what it is. They had the fairy godmother. This is what I'm loving about this season. In the end of season 3, when Constantine dropped the dragon head, you let loose a bunch of magical creatures.
Right.
You were thinking dragons and demons and all this shit. So far, we've seen a fucking unicorn that gores people in these hearts. I was with it. A fairy godmother. What other? There's gonna be a leprechaun. There's going to be.
There has to be.
There's gonna be a leprechaun.
Mr. Mixelplix or something like that.
No, they already used him on Supergirl. They already used Mr. Mixelplix. They call him Mixie or something like that.
Yeah, Mixie.
They used him on that. There's a leprechaun. There's gonna be probably a bunny rabbit.
Yep.
There's gonna be a bunny.
You can do all those Charlton characters.
You can do all those.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to see the Charlotte's Web one. Just to watch them do a spider, even though it's not a magical creature. They're gonna make something a magical creature, something like that.
It'll be like the spider in Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Yeah. Anything that's been legendary magically.
They'll play the Game of Thrones card and try and make ratings off that.
Oh, that's gonna be the best one for me. Yeah, Constantine is that dude. I'm glad he finally joined the Wave Rider. Him and Mick Rory button heads is gonna be great.
I like that they put him on Legends of Tomorrow.
He needed some because they gave him back the show, in a sense, the animated version. But I like Matt Ryan live action. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's no taking away what Keanu Reeves did in the movie, but complete.
Those movies were garbage, fucking, like, as far as, like, representations of that character.
I mean, I get, right, for those who doesn't know the cartoon, plus you had Shia LaBeouf. And that always gives you negative points. To see that was great. I like how they're doing it. Him being, there's somebody chasing him. and I'm wondering if it's Satan himself.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, because the granny was
so scared.
Because he said, like, if you can help me get away from this, I won't send you to hell. And she was like, I would rather go to hell.
She was like, I know who's chasing you. Like, I wonder, but it's easy to do Satan. I just wonder if there's somebody bigger than Satan.
It'll be some, like, Mammon or some weird otherworldly version of Satan.
Be Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Let's shoot over to The Flash. One of the biggest things that's been going on since the first season is Nora has been really cold and distant towards Iris since coming back and letting her know that that's her mom. Well, it's finally revealed why she's distant. Nora tells Iris that at one point she put a power dampening chip in her when she was a kid.
She's so gung-ho.
Yeah. And so she took her power, but Nora didn't find out until 6 months ago, which is, I'll be honest, fucked up.
That's like fucking with like hormones, like giving your kid weird hormones
to suppress, making them go through, not making them go through puberty and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, you got a reason to hate your mama. You got a reason. I'm like, I don't blame you, hater.
At first, when they were first playing it out in the first few episodes, I thought it was because it was something about like maybe Iris isn't looking for Barry in the future or something like that, or something.
Right, that would make sense.
Yeah, or something along those lines where it's just like, no, there's a reason she hates her, and it has to do with or she was dead in the future and she didn't know her or something like that.
Well, no, she was like, you know, it was so the whole like it was the whole you do what you do. You keep making burnt pancakes and all this shit, and just was like shitting on everything. And you knew Barry had been disappeared, but it was like, fuck. Mm-hmm. I just wish they had. Now
the kid who plays Wally is leaving the show, right?
Yeah, him and so there's some behind the scenes news with that. I've never said it on the podcast, and I'm gonna say it now for the first time. Why Kenyon Lonsdale isn't there? Him and Grant Gustin do not get along.
Okay.
At all.
Off screen.
They do not. That's why he went to Legends at first. Didn't really like Legends. Now he wants to become a rock music star. And so they had to bring him back real quick. And it's like, all right.
You could bring back Redhead. And, well, that's what's good about The Flash and the other Earths is you could just bring in another Wally West.
You actually can.
And just have it be the redheaded white guy Wally West, even though you need the whole diversity thing. Mm-hmm. It would be bad PR move to go from a black Wally West to the quintessential white redheaded Wally West.
Yo, the internet would explode if they did that. But that's the reason why he's not on there. And Nora, in this episode, Nora likes a blogger named Spin who always has these deep stories and finds out Spin's a metahuman because her phone is meta tech.
Yeah, and takes over people's minds.
Yeah, with a headline, which is dope. She made it almost beat the shit out of her daddy.
Yeah. Well, and also in this episode, don't you find out that all of this stuff is because of
Nora helping blow up the satellite?
Yeah. So there could be these tech metas all over the city.
And that's what Cicada is. Cicada's blade is the tech that makes him a meta. But we saw at the end of the episode, he has a piece of the satellite inside of him. So he's never had it taken out. So if he has it taken out, either he'll bleed out to death or he just won't be able to do anything. That's going to be interesting. Again, the Flash this season has actually picked up.
Yeah,
I like
a good
it.
one.
I like it. Let's go into Black Lightning real quick. It started off with one of the greatest fucking fights that really didn't happen. I loved it. Jennifer supposedly was going on prom with Issa, which I was like, yo, didn't Shorty leave? All of a sudden, Khalil walks in. Keep you looking at the notes. This is when I had to do the review, so this is just a little jots down. This ain't the same way as the other one. I just copied and pasted.
Yeah.
Because Keith's looking at the notes that I gave him from the run sheet, and I know he's like, what the fuck is he talking about?
No, it was matching up. I also don't watch Black Lightning that much, so it's just too new. I had to catch up. Dude, it's so hard watching these shows.
Yeah, I have to watch them all.
I know.
Every week. And give the news.
Yeah.
And give the news. Yeah, because I love the fans. You guys are amazing. But they made her have a fight with Khalil, and the fight was great because Jennifer used her powers and controls. When it was one part during the fight when I knew she was finna whoop Khalil's ass, where she took her earrings out and took her shoes off. So if you don't know anything, when a black woman takes her shoes off and earrings...
Yeah, or starts cracking her fake
nails off, she finna beat your ass. She finna beat your ass. It was, we found out Tobias gets back out of jail. Lynn and Dr. J still have their things going on. Jen is getting told she's getting homeschooled. Tobias basically gets free from jail. It's all interesting. Here's the crazy part. I've seen up to episode 6. and I want to talk about it, but I can't. So
you get all the advanced stuff.
Yeah, so I want to talk about it, but I can't. So we'll talk about that. I'll just ended up talking about Titans. The Doom Patrol was there, and we saw their origins.
That's pretty dope.
I want to say this.
Are they doing Morrison Doom Patrol?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Brendan Fraser is fucking hilarious. He is just the voice of Robot Man. But and in the flashbacks, they'll show Brendan Fraser as Cliff the driver. But Brendan Fraser is hilarious. Negative Man is funny. Rita is crazy because of her situation.
They have the brick in it. The brick, that's the road. Because in Doom Patrol, one of the characters is literally a road.
Yeah, they didn't have that. Not yet. Not yet.
They got to bring the road in.
They didn't do that. They're just doing Negative Man, Crazy Jane, Rita, Robot Man, Cyborg, and somebody else. I can't remember. I'll figure it out. But yeah, they were hilarious. Robin and Starfire. So Raven leaves the convent at the last episode when that demon comes out of her, blows up the convent, escapes. Guard catches up to her. She's in the woods. 2 hunters had just shot a deer. She like, yo, leave the deer alone. Let me heal him. Fucking Guard comes up as the tiger again. Why the fuck is that the only thing he could turn into right now?
Yeah, he loves it. Also, when he turned into the tiger and was stealing video games, I'm just like, you're breaking these games.
You said so. I said the same thing. I was like, yo, why did he not turn into the monkey?
Yeah, turn into something with hands.
But after that, basically, one of the hunters got shot. Robin and Starfire go looking for Raven. They find Raven at the Doom Patrol house. There basically ends up being a fight where the chief is basically trying to help Raven, quote unquote, suppress her abilities. And she just decides she's tied up. She don't want to do it no more. And the demon parts start coming out of her. The chief is like, no, my child, I'm going to help you. Guard was like, let her go, let her go, let her go. And it turns green. Which, again, that is so weird. It is so weird for me how they're doing this because Beast Boy has green skin. Mm-hmm. The way they're doing Ryan Potter is he's just looks like Ryan Potter with green hair until he decides he wants to turn and get mad.
And then
like the Hulk,
and then he turns into an animal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could just have him with green skin the whole time.
Unless that was too much for your budget.
Yeah. Well, or because that's also why, I mean, also for diversity's sake, because they could have made Starfire orange.
I think that would have looked really weird on camera, especially with these HD cameras. I think so certain colors are hard to do. Orange, red, blues, and greens.
It's very green. You'd probably have to wear a green screen.
Yeah. Green is hard, orange, blue, red. So a lot of colors are hard, which have to be done in post. But if that be the case, make him green in post for the whole show.
Yeah, or just you can, like, almost like they do with Starfire, they kind of give her an orange aura. Like her
whenever she changes, yeah.
You could just incorporate green stuff around him. You could change the filtering of the scenes to make it more green.
I wish. It's just they do the same thing like that. They do that with her that they do with Beast Boy. Only when she gets enraged and about to use her abilities does she turn orange.
Yeah.
Until Beast Boy gets mad, he's just a regular dude. Those are certain issues I have. I'm trying to get into the show because I still can't get into Brendan Thwaites as Robin. This is me just keeping it 100 with y'all. I can't. I don't know if you can. His costume looks really fucking generic. The fact he just keeps it in a briefcase.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like... And I don't want to slight the money they're putting into it, but it kind of looks like a fan-made TV show at points.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing fight scenes, you're just like, oh, this looks like a YouTube video.
So when I first saw the trailer, I told everybody, if you know me, I've said it on here, on the podcast, I said it during the review I did. I said it looks like an episode of Superpower Beatdown. It looks like an extended episode of Superpower Beatdown.
Yeah.
And I love fucking, Superpower Beatdown. I'm not ashamed to say it. I know the people who are responsible for it. I'm here for it, but I'm like, yo, this is supposed to be your own show, not mimicking some other shit. So I was like, man, all right, I guess. Because I remember when the first behind the scenes photos came out, everybody lost their mind.
Yeah, and people don't, and I feel like the way it was first reported, people were kind of trying to put it out there to be made fun of. Like with the whole fuck Batman and stuff, and like someone gets their testicle crushed in this, which is great.
I mean, I think I'm going back further when the first behind the scenes picture when everybody saw Starfire, how she looked.
Yeah. And
they were like, oh my God, she looks like a whore. And this, that, the third. I was like,
she kind of is one.
Well, I don't want to say she is. But it's comic book accurate.
Yeah.
It's comic book accurate.
She's fucking with a rich dude for money. Like, she's kind of like a
Money,
high class.
money and information.
Yeah.
Money and information. So that's the deal with that, I guess. I don't know. But nonetheless, the Doom Patrol, so now the Titans are together. The 4 of them are together.
Yeah.
Because after the fight, the Titan, Raven and Robin, say this shit 3 times fast. Robin, Raven, and Starfire were leaving. Robot Man told Beast Boy, go with them. We'll see you back. You belong with them. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, okay, that's just
I like how Doom Patrol is seeding from this show.
Well, they're getting their own show next season.
Yeah.
So this is how you introduce them. You started, cool. And like I said, the beautiful thing, we saw all their origins. We saw how every last one of the members of the Doom Patrol, even saw in the beginning of the episode, you saw how Beast Boy became Beast Boy. Cool with that. I think that is all the news and recaps that I have for today. Keith, I thank you for coming to hang out with me, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
What do you have going on, and how can the people reach you and find you and all that good stuff?
You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Keith Paesel. That is KeithPaesel. I have a stand-up special that is on YouTube. I made it myself back in Chicago. It's called Rat Tales, RATTALES. It's also on Spotify and Apple Music, so you could listen to my stand-up through those venues. And then if you are in the LA area, I am going to be at the Bronson Bar doing stand-up comedy on Thursday for a dope-ass comedy show. And that's it right now. I also have a podcast called This is Keith Paesel's Podcast, just a straightforward podcast radio show. And then I also have a show called Journey into Nerdery, where I do what Jay does, but with comic books and not TV shows.
Hey, man, I respect the hell out of that. This week, I don't think I have too much going on. I just had the calendar up, but I'm going to pull it back up again. I know Wednesday I will be in Glendale, California. I am performing at some spot. Where the fuck is it? Because I told him, yes, I'll be there. Hold on, I got to find the flyer. I know, so professional, ain't I? Wow, y'all love me. Friday I'm in Glendale. Not Friday. Wednesday I'm in Glendale. I will be at the Capri Lounge. It's at 1134 North Pacific Avenue. Shows at 9 p.m. It's free. I'll be out there with a bunch of other comics. It should be a good time. If not, I'll leave.
After his spot, he'll leave.
I'll just. You know what? I gotta go. I can't do this anymore. I can't. My phone can't take this. Well, because there's no sports really anyway to affect it anymore. So it's like, all right, cool. This weekend, if I got anything else coming up, you already know you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. That's at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. I'm going to be putting some more content up there. I know I haven't put anything up in a minute, but I've been doing 90,000 different things. I'm going to put a lot of stuff up there for you guys, so you can leave me the hell alone about it. Check out the website here, madtitancast.com. If some stories break that are worthwhile putting up, I will put them up. If it's something that's like, oh, Brie Larson dressed as Captain Marvel to tell you to vote, I don't know if I really need to post that because everybody else has. Yeah. Like it's a major story, so I won't. As I said in the beginning, if you want to sponsor the podcast, what that means is you will have your product placed here at the end, at the beginning, as well as the middle. Please email me at j@jwashington.com, jay@jaywashington.com. I will give you all the information and rates and how long what it can be. Get your products advertised here on the podcast. Become a sponsor. If you want to be a sponsor without a product to sell, email me there. I'll tell you how we can do all that. I'll give you the receipts, the invoices, all this and third. You have it. I say this, that, and the third a lot. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. It's in my DNA. But if you want to sponsor the podcast, if you want to support the podcast, hit me up and I will give you all that information. j@jwashington.com. All right? I will holler at you guys next week. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.